Ladies and gentlemen, please do join your hands in welcoming my guest. Dr. Kiran Bedi comes from Delhi but has now adopted Puducherry as her latest hunting ground as the LG there. Please sit, ma'am. Please welcome Suhasini Maniratnam, actor, producer, director, writer. Do welcome Leela Sampson, former chairperson of the censor board and one of the country's most accomplished dancers. Please welcome Khushbu Sundar, actor turned politician now, perhaps with the wrong party, but then that's her choice. Do welcome Dhanya Rajendran, the young editor of News Minute, a digital site that focuses on news from the South. And just in case I feel isolated among all these wonderful women, I'm joined by a friend who became a sparring partner of mine when the floods took place in Chennai 13 months ago because he believed that the mainstream media was ignoring Chennai and the South. R.J. Balaji, the very popular radio jockey. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the concluding session at the India Today South Conclave 2017. We've had two engrossing days where we've discussed power politics, we've looked at art, we've looked at culture, music, entertainment, industry, entrepreneurship. We've had the entire gamut of newsmakers and voices from across southern India in an event that has really become the talk of the town here in Chennai, and indeed the newsmakers are making headlines across the front pages of national dailies as well. We are concluding today by looking at a question that perhaps is an eternal one, but one that perhaps has often been wrestled with by people here in the South in particular. Is the cultural identity of South India under some kind of strain or threat? Is South India still a traditional conservative society? Does it lack the cosmopolitan spirit, as Jairam Ramesh, the Congress former union minister, alleged yesterday at the conclave? What about issues of gender bias? What about issues of traditional communities fighting to keep their art forms intact? These are some of the issues only that I will raise with a very special panel that's joining us here today. Please welcome Dr. Kiran Bedi, the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. She, in a sense, represents the North-South divide being overcome because she is, of course, a former chief ministerial candidate in Delhi, but now has found a new sanctuary in Puducherry. Also joining me is Khushbu Sundar, actor and politician. As I said, maybe with the wrong party, but that's her choice. Also joining us is Suhasini Maniratnam, a woman of many parts, actor, writer, producer, director. We're also joined by Leela Sampson, one of the country's leading dancers, also a former chairperson of the censor board and a very proud member of Chennai Civil Society. Also joining me is Dhanya Rajendran to represent the new generation in a way of young journalists, bringing out a wonderful digital site called News Minute that focuses on issues of the South. And just in case I thought I was outnumbered here by the women, I'm joined by R.J. Balaji, a very popular radio jockey and someone who's become a voice of Chennai in many ways. Thank you all very much for joining us. As I said, as a news person, I have decided to broaden the topic from the original topic, which was gender bias, because I want to get a news point out of each of you. And the news point starts with the traditional sport of Jallikattu, which is your bullfighting sport, which now is under threat and has led to protests in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, with various actors also coming out strongly in favor of the sport. And I want to ask each of you, are you in favor of Jallikattu or not? You can start, Khushbu Sundar, since you're a politician. Are you in favor of this traditional sport continuing? Should this sport continue?
My answer is not going to be anything me being related to politics. I think as a person from Chennai, I'm a true-blooded Chennai, I feel I've been living here for the last 30 years. I personally feel that we need Jallikattu. And it's not about tradition alone, it's the wrong conception, misconceptions that people of the north have with them about the bull. It's not bullfight, it's known as bull embracing. And Tamil, I think Kamal Hassan was here yesterday and he also said, it's different meaning, it's the bull embracing. So I think the conception what the north has about Jallikattu is absolutely wrong. It has to definitely go.
You've already started this debate by making it north versus south. But Suhasini Maniratnam, you come from a village where you've actually seen Jallikattu. So do you believe that this is a sport which, do you see it as a sport or do you see it as animal rights activists see it as cruelty to animals?
Yeah, like you said, I think I'm the only one who's actually seen a real Jallikattu being performed in a village. And there is a lot of, celebration and festivity to it. But it's very male dominated. Very few women even come to watch because some of the men who are fighting are all from their families, so they stay away from it if they get hurt and things like that. So I think I will take the side of those women. I will stay away and see in this fight who's going to win. If it is somebody closer to me, I'll come forward. If it is somebody not related to me, I'll stay away.
You're being very diplomatic.
Yes, absolutely, because I believe in animal rights and I also believe in human rights violation too. I believe in both. I don't want to hurt the animal. I don't want human beings also to be hurt. Both ways.
Leela Sampson.
Well, I'll have to say, Rajdeep, that as a person, connected so strongly to culture, I believe that it's a tradition, and like many other traditions, you can argue that it should survive. But I'm a very strong animal rights, a lover of animals, and I feel there's an element of cruelty to it, which I personally don't like to watch, and danger.
Nanya Rajendran?
Well, I watched 4 Jallikattus. The first 3 were very shocking because the element of animal cruelty is very much there. And of course, human rights violations. But those humans are there by their own choice. So, but I see the conversation which is happening now is very divided. It's between animal rights activists and those who believe there should be Jallikattu. So I think the 4th Jallikattu I watched was the one with restrictions, where only one person would be allowed inside the arena and the bull would come. It was a very sober affair. It was a very sober affair, and no one was there was no male, adrenaline rush there. It was a very sober affair. So maybe that should be the path forward, not an entire ban on Jallikattu. There has to be dialogue. It cannot be tradition versus what the Supreme Court or the animal rights activists say, because that's only making this a confrontational issue. So why not have a dialogue? There has been Jallikattu with restrictions.
So you're saying Jallikattu with restrictions. RJ Balaji, were you part of those large gathering of 15-20,000 people who assembled in Chennai over the weekend to protest against the ban?
I actually wanted to. I was back in India yesterday morning, so I couldn't attend the event. And Rajdeep, to tell you one thing, the actual name of Jallikattu is Air Taduvudal. Taduvudal in English is hugging. So if I hug you, will it hurt you?
No, hold on.
No. Air is the bull. Bull. If I hug you, it might hurt. But imagine hugging generally.
No, I know there are those
Hugging
who call
a
it
bull.
a bull embrace. But the fact is there is an element of cruelty also that you cannot deny.
See, for once, not even for once, many times I agree with Danya, and this time also I agree there should be certain rules and regulations for Jallikattu because the sport has evolved, people has evolved, but it is our tradition. You can't sit in an AC room and just call it as hurting a bull. And I, for a fact, know that it is not only, as Suhasini ma'am said, one thing that I know, I have done shows about Jallikattu on radio and I have done research on that. Breeding of a cattle is done predominantly by women in the villages. So it is a sport that involved both men and women. And it is a lot of love involved. Lot of tradition involved. So somebody from an AC room can't say this is hurting a bull. It is air taduvudal, hugging a bull. Yes, there are people might hurt. Yes, there are. As she said, I need rules for. If you imagine cricket match happened with Sehwag with no rules, you can go hit and with Dhawan. Go take the bat and hit anybody. what will happen? You will have rules. 6 balls per over. If a batsman behave badly, he can be sent out. You can give red card, yellow card in a football match. So for frame rules, don't ban a tradition. Don't ban a sport that has been there for hundreds of years.
There were two quick responses. Leela Sampson wanted to make one and Khushbu Sundar. Yes, ma'am.
I just wondered whether we've taken the opinion of the other person involved, which is the animal.
Now that is spoken like an animal rights activist who's...
No, there are two parties involved. And I think with these very, very wonderful traditions that we have, and they are wonderful. There used to be the cockfight in the temples. There were many other such traditions. And in Spain, of course, we know how artistic actually that entire thing can be. But I still say that the other party has no rights. That they don't really. We take a call on it.
In fact, there are similar traditional community activities in Punjab, in Maharashtra as well. I'm just wondering whether this has become now an issue which you set off, Khushbu Sundar, of South versus North. That, you seem to believe that the national media or, as Balaji suggests, the elites don't understand these traditional community sport. Is that a fair way to look at it? In progressive society, there is the element of animal rights versus those who believe that traditional communities must be allowed to perform their activities.
No, I completely understand. I'm not blaming the activist. We completely bow down to the order of the apex code, but at the same time, we need to understand that when you're trying to do something right, there will always be a few wrongs here and there. And then if there are 4 wrongs, you cannot say all the 40,000 rights of a Jallikattu is going to make everything wrong. I met a woman who had lost her husband in Jallikattu fight. And when I asked her, because she has a son, and she still has a bull in her home, and she says, he's part of my family. I look at him as my husband. I make sure that he eats, even if I don't have food to eat. And I make just 100 rupees a day, but I make sure that the bull eats. And I said, your son is showing very keen interest in the same sport. Would you allow her? It's called Veera Vilayat. It's okay, so she said, you are asking me if my son ask for a permission if I can go to a temple. Will I say no? So for me, it's Jallikattu is like going to a temple. So I'm definitely going to allow him. So when you talk about women, when you talk about the actual people who are for Jallikattu, nobody would understand a bull, a cow, or the cattle more than the rural areas or the farmers. And they are absolutely pro-Jallikattu. So we have to listen what they have to say.
So it's very different to the arguments made by those who say legally Sati was banned. Sati was also a tradition, but it was banned because it was seen in today's times to be unacceptable. You don't believe that you can put Jallikattu in the same place as is often done?
Definitely not.
Okay. Because there have been arguments made to this effect in the courts as well when there was an attempt, when the attempt was made to ban Jallikattu. Ma'am, you've been the most silent that you've been in a long time, so pick up the mic and tell us as a policewoman, do you believe that where do you stand as the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry? I'm sure it's also played in your union territory.
I haven't seen one yet.
But it is, in village communities in Puducherry as well. Would you support it?
My knowledge about Jallikattu is through television. I've only seen the visuals on the television till yesterday. And what I saw was, here was a bull racing through, escaping himself from the tail being pulled back. And then the bull is being provoked around, and the bull is raging through the crowds. That means everybody's so vulnerable. The bull is provoked. The bull is being hurt. The tail is, I thought you were saying hugging. Are you trying to hug the tail? I was wondering who's hugging the tail. I didn't see any hugging. I only saw provocation. So the television visuals till yesterday said this. And it is trying to escape and also running into the crowds, which means that anybody is vulnerable to be injured and hurt. That's all I saw. And I start to wonder, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Even if it's a tradition, are we not supposed to grow out of such traditions? Where you clearly are violent, clearly are hurting, you are clearly being... And it is a case of cruelty on animals. That's the law. And I guess I would feel Supreme Court has rightly upheld not having Jallikattu.
I'm just going to give one final word to Balaji and then move on to the other issues. Go ahead.
I just want to know if the elephants in Kerala, the temples, like across, I know all the elephants will have at least one, all the temples will have at least one elephant. Are they standing happily? They're all chained.
No, but that doesn't make it right.
No, I'm saying there are a lot of traditions across India. They need certain rules and regulations. Why ban only us?
No, has it become a question of Tamil cultural identity now?
Suddenly
Has
they
this
are
become
taking
an
away
issue
Pongal
of Tamil
holiday as
cultural
optional.
identity?
Suddenly they are taking away the Pongal holiday. Then they will say there is no Pongal. Then they will say, no, Tamil Nadu, where are you? Who are you actually? Where did you come from? So I'm kind of feeling there are a lot of traditions that can be. I was in Ahmedabad recently, Gujarat. I was there. I saw camel carrying some thousands of kilos on road on main Ahmedabad roads. Why don't you ban that? Gujarat is very close to Delhi. You can see from there like this, you can see the camel. But you saw all the way through Madurai and you banned our tradition. First you ban a camel that is carrying trucks of loads. That is hurting animal cruelty. I am against that. You are using a leather belt. I am using a leather belt. You ban the export and import of leather goods. Why ban a tradition that has been followed for hundreds of years?
Kiran Bedi,
It's a leather shoe. Yes, ma'am. I saw that. And Pondicherry has got heights in showroom.
I only hear the word you banned it. I think it's Supreme Court has finally overruled it. It's the law which has taken place. So it's a matter of law. Why don't we learn to respect Supreme Court? So when you say you,
ma'am,
nobody...
yes, ma'am. I
The
agree
Supreme
completely
Court
with
has-
all due respect to Supreme Court.
Supreme-
Meryl Streep, an Hollywood actor, yesterday she commented on
Donald Trump.
the to be the president of United States. How can she come? They didn't react like that. Somebody wanted to voice out the opinion. I feel in this time, Supreme Court may not be right always. I feel this time it targeted on us. Maybe, yes, probably there should be rules and regulations. Supreme Court also directed a state to give us water. The state didn't give us water. But nobody took action on the state. No court.
I think...
No court or government has taken action against the state.
No, when I see applause like this, Danya, I come to the question, is this a sense of seeing this as Tamil cultural identity in some way being threatened?
That's exactly what's happening. That's why I said it's become confrontational now, and that's not helping the cause. If you go to Madurai during a Jallikattu, there'll be posters all through Alaganallur village. So the first time I went, I'm from Kerala, though south we are very different, all the states. So I asked the same question, why are you doing this? And those posters are of people who died the previous year. And they're so happy that these people are dead, and they call them the martyrs. So their posters are put up. There's a strange pride associated with the sport. I can't understand it, nor can many others. But these people do. So have a dialogue.
Okay, have a dialogue. Let me turn, even as we've been discussing this, the images that have been playing come from the original topic that we had intended for today, which was reflective of what had happened or allegedly happened in Bengaluru on New Year's Eve. The images were of the so-called mass molestation. Now, many believe these images were exaggerated. Some are saying that actually what happened isn't quite what was shown on television. But either way, they seem to do enormous damage in a way to the reputation of the South as being safer for women, as being more embracing in terms of, the man-woman equation, safety of women on streets. Do you believe that things have changed? Dhanya, I just want to first understand, did the media overplay this issue? Because we in the media are looking for sensationalism. And therefore, what happened on Bengaluru streets almost seemed to suggest unsafe Bangalore. Is that true that the media deliberately sensationalized this issue?
Well, the first thing is that women are molested, sexually assaulted almost in every crowd. And when there are men who are drunk and they're going to have fun, that fun also includes touching a woman, molesting her or assaulting her. So I'm very sure that lots of women were molested on New Year's Eve in various parts of Bangalore and in the whole country. Now the pictures which the newspaper ran, as a journalist, I would ask for more proof. Because those pictures of those women with the woman cop, the 3 pictures which went viral, there are clear CCTV footages which show that those were not the women who may have been molested, because there are footages which show the sequence. So as a journalist, I believe, yes, the first story was exaggerated, but the damage was done when the Karnataka Home Minister said something like, why wear Western clothes? I think it just became huge because of his comment. And the problem is that he sadly reflects what many men and women in this country think. Then there is this visual.
Does he reflect a social conservatism, Suhasini Maniratnam, that exists particularly deep down south? I'm not suggesting it doesn't in the north. In the north as well, and in fact, in the north, it's often seen as par for the course that a woman, in a way, is subject to the male gaze. In the south, is the woman subject to the male gaze in the same way? Is there a deep-rooted social conservatism that when it comes to the woman in particular, the woman isn't subject to the male gaze in the south in the manner that she is in the north?
I don't think there is any difference, north, south, and things like that. It's about man versus woman. I don't think you can regionalize this. But of course,
so there is a
statistics
deep gender bias. There is a sense that the woman, if a woman wore a short skirt in Chennai today, or in Bengaluru, or at Tiruvananthapuram, would she be subject to the male gaze, yes or no?
Definitely, yes, yes. I think there is something wrong with our social structure itself, because I remember when I was newly married, I come from a village, remember. I come from a village and I studied in a village till 10th standard or 9th standard. I didn't see so much of gender difference. When I got married and went to an affluent family for dinner, we were all sitting in the drawing room and we were all talking about lots of things. And then when it was dinner time, the lady of the house, who's a professional herself, and she said, "Can we go to the kitchen and eat?" You see, I was shocked because I'm from a village and in the city. And it was my wedding, but she said, "Can we eat in the kitchen?" So my husband had to eat in the drawing room and I had to eat in the kitchen. So there are these differences, there are these cultural traditions which should be avoided. But somewhere we are asking the women to be careful. I don't know why. We are asking the women to be careful. I think this man, what he said was horrible. It was really bad. But what he was saying is, be careful. We are trying to protect our women. We don't know what else to do. We can start with maybe say, don't wear a miniskirt, don't go out at 12 o'clock in the night. But we are giving them all kinds of freedom, but we don't know what's going to happen outside.
Kiran Bedi, as someone who's seen life in Delhi and now life in Puducherry, surely a woman who walks on the streets of Puducherry is a lot safer than a woman who walks the streets of Delhi. I mean, let's be clear. Do you believe that there is an exaggeration in a way? In the way, I mean, is it fair to damn the South in the manner it was after Bengaluru? There was this entire attempt, particularly in the national media, to suggest Bangalore unsafe. Your own experience in Puducherry, are women far more safe? Are they more empowered than they would ever be in North India?
Yes, I do see a very positive difference between the way women are looked at in Pondicherry compared to Delhi. I see greater respect for them. I see them find them safer. They walk through the late evenings. I find I find them much more at peace. I don't see them agitated. The only violence we have in Puducherry, major violence, is coming through alcoholism. And that also, not as much of domestic violence, but leading to depressions and suicides. You see, you have the other side. So therefore, whereas in the north, alcoholism leads to domestic violence in a big way. Whereas I've noticed alcoholism leading to depressions and suicides in Pondicherry. That's an amazing difference. But I don't see women feeling unsafe as much as women feel unsafe in my city called Delhi.
Alcoholism is a big problem. It has been a big problem, particularly in Tamil Nadu. Among families, in fact, it became a big election issue last year as well. And Jayalalitha was forced to backtrack and agree in a way to some form of prohibition. Do you believe alcoholism is a major problem?
Before that, I want to say, ma'am, Suhasini ma'am said, from being in a village and coming to a city, she found a lot of difference. I am being brought up in Chennai for last 32 years of my life, from the day one of my life. And I remember an incident when I was in 10th standard. I went out with my class girls to Kahona Pyar Hai, first Bollywood movie I watched on theatre. 9 girls and I was the only boy. And there were some boys from my class, they spotted me in Satyam Theatre. And then they went and complained to my class teacher. The next day morning, she shamed me in front of the whole class, saying that, how can you go out with girls? What is your intention? I thought, 10th standard, I thought in a very convent kind of, look at my English, that kind of school. So, so I thought, okay, going out with girls and talking to girls and being with girls is a sin. Then I flunked in my 12th standard, not because of this, but generally I flunked. And my friends went to engineering college. And engineering college, they were not allowed to sit next to a girl, not even talk to a girl in the bus journey of entire 48 hours to their college. It is far away, near Pakistan, the colleges are. And even in college, if a boy, girl, there's a famous saying, saying a boy, girl talk, the owner will talk. So it's like that. They are not allowed to talk to a girl. So boy who is not allowed to talk to a girl in a school, in college, how can he go handle the real life situation?
That's
He
what
is
I'm
like
saying. Something
completely
is wrong
restricted.
with our social structure.
I'm not justifying
No,
men.
something
is wrong.
I'm
no,
not
are we-
justifying
no,
men.
is there this
There is a
deep-rooted
divide.
social
There
conservatism
is a
that has
divide.
divided society?
Yes, it is
segregated
divided.
society?
Man, woman, there is a fence, there is a division.
For a long time, I used to see women like something, they are like PK, somebody from other planet. Oh, there's a girl like this. I was not allowed to talk. So suddenly I go out and I see a woman partying with men. I think, oh, this girl is available. That's the first. I don't think, okay, it's normal to drink. If I'm not supporting drinking. Anybody, you drink, I drink, we both get the same disease.
No, I'm just wondering whether traditional societies there also, Leela Sampson, are under strain. Because, you know, you've got a new way of life being imposed on a traditional society. Traditionally, societies, particularly in this part of the world, did have a certain segregation between man and woman. It perhaps exists all across the country, but there is this new urbanism which suddenly is transposed on this traditional society.
I'm a little confused because there's such a strong, vibration of. Now the man is. I'm beginning to feel sorry for the men, who we started off this whole seminar on the discussion of whether there was gender bias in this country. And now I'm really feeling very sorry for you.
No, I came across all these things because my mom used to encourage me. Talk to girls, talk to girls.
I'll have to apologize to him. But having said that, Rajdeep, on a more serious note,
Yes.
from the day you are born, not only in India but anywhere in the world, a girl feels the threat of the fear of some kind of, not molestation, but definitely, and the stories are endless, and we all have friends, we all have sisters, brother, everybody who has gone through some of this. Okay, so having said that, I'll say that you're never really safe. That in any society, and that includes politics, that includes institutions, it includes, the film industry, it includes the worlds of art and normal society, offices, right down to, hospitals. You name it, it's there. So there is a threat, and no girl is totally safe. Having said that, let's look at the arts now. You said where modern society is being imposed on a traditional scenario. Look at the arts I'm involved with. It's a traditional art form being imposed on very, very modern young people. Mm-hmm. And you have a situation today where, you're talking about degradation of tradition. I don't think so. I think there's an upsurge. If you look at the number of young people, who are Canadian citizens, American citizens, our Indian children, Australian citizens. I have 2 people in my company, 2 boys, who have returned to India with their Australian and Canadian passports to be dancers.
So you
India.
see an efflorescence of the classical arts, of its music, because there is a sense that they're under threat.
I have to say this, that in music, in dance, in painting, in these areas, there is a huge, what we thought would be a complete decline, did not happen. There is a huge, there's a mediocrity because of the larger numbers who are now learning what they think is Bharatanatyam or any of these other art forms. But there is a huge number of very serious practitioners all over the United States among our own children who live in very, very conservative families, by the way. The conservatism is there, it's not in Chennai. Chennai is a liberated, city, in my opinion.
So you deny what Jairam Ramesh said yesterday, that Chennai lacks a cosmopolitan spirit.
I totally
Absolutely.
deny it. I think Jairam should come back. We'd do well having him around here.
I don't know if you would have ordered cosmopolitan here in the bar, you wouldn't have got it. So he said Chennai doesn't have cosmopolitan spirit. I exactly
Chennai
know.
is totally
No,
cosmopolitan.
you don't agree that Chennai is an inward-looking city.
It's
You
a
don't
yo-yo
agree that
city.
South is inward-looking.
Rajdeep,
Not at
if
all.
I am
Not at
living
all.
here and I consider it to be my home, my city, is that not cosmopolitan?
Okay, so Jairam Ramesh needs to come and live in Chennai and understand what is cosmopolitanism. But can I come back for a moment to this point of women's empowerment? Look at the politics of Tamil Nadu. Barring Jayalalitha, who towered in a sense over the politics of the state for a long period, it is hugely male-dominated. Isn't it very difficult for a woman to make her mark in public life? I'm not saying this is unique to the South or unique to Tamil Nadu in a way. But would you agree, Khushbu Sundar? Even in the film industry, you know, there seems to be, it's very, very male dominated. But the politics of this state in particular, or indeed across the South, largely male dominated. How many strong women leaders has the South thrown up?
No, I think as far as politics is concerned, it is definitely very, very male dominated. The problem being a lot of women are not encouraged to enter politics. You enter politics as a youth and then you're there and then, you know, you really need to work hard. You have to give 24/7. There are times when even 24 hours are not enough to be in politics. And when you start very young, then you know there's a family pressure. You have to get married, you have a family, you have to take care of your mother-in-law, you have children, you have to take care of them. And then you start making compromises, saying that when there's a meeting, no, I have family, I have to take care of them. So, you know, the urge to reach the top, it actually wands off at a particular time, because the demands are so much from the families. Until unless a woman doesn't have a complete family support. When I say family, it's not about her parents alone. I think it also depends on her husband, if she's married, her in-laws, everyone. Till she doesn't have that support, it's not going to happen.
Even in the film industry, is there a lot of gender bias even in the film industry, Suhasini Maniratnam?
Of course, when it comes to the salaries, of course, the men, you know, the ratio is like from there to here.
How much does a Rajnikant get compared to, let's say, the number one?
1:100.
1:100?
Or 1:, yeah, maybe 1:80. 1:80. Yeah, 1:80 is the ratio. But that's we are not talking about that. But our industry is the only industry where women are needed. Without women, this industry cannot run. Whether behind the screen or in front of the screen, there should be women. Because, you know, 50% of the people who are watching the films are women. You know, so you cannot like keep the women at the background at all. So you cannot say it's male dominated. Yes, it is male dominated, like how the society is. You know, a doctor can retire, an engineer can retire, even a politician can retire. The actor doesn't retire. We come back in another avatar. You know, we either write, we produce, or we act as grandmothers, grandfathers. You know, so you cannot write us off. Women cannot be written off in the film industry.
You know, I'm just wondering whether this is a national problem. You know, we can come to Chennai and talk of gender bias, Kiran Bedi, but across India, do you believe that we are such a male-dominated society that to have women really make their mark is extremely difficult even today across this country, even in 2017, for women to make their mark truly is not easy, particularly in public life?
You got to look at which section of society you're looking. Which section of society are you addressing? Which region of the country you're addressing? Which community are you addressing? If you work with the villages, women still are second-rate citizens. If you work in the underprivileged sections, women are still not emerging. But women are emerging where parents are giving them an opportunity. Women are not, girls are not emerging on their own. It's nature and nurture. It's nurturing which is bringing out the girls at the top. It's not nature. It's nurturing. All of us who've made any mark in our lives, it's because of the nurturing we got, either from families or we got it from our education institutions. It's not by nature. Nature is still, the man still dominates by nature. It is by nurturing that we women have come out and made a mark for ourselves. So as the tribe and the community of women, as the tribe of good educationists, as the tribe of good educated parents emerges, and also social community leaders, they also are emerging. So you need three kinds of people. One, social community leaders, parenters, educationists. As that tribe increases, you will have more women reaching up to the top by merit, by capability. Remember, it's a competitive world now. It's a competitive world.
No, I
you
know,
cannot.
But you know, isn't there a dilemma or a dichotomy really? Dichotomy between the statistics. On all statistics, the South Indian states are well ahead of the rest of the country when it comes to gender issues. Female literacy, sex ratio, South India well ahead. But is there still a deep social conservatism that prevents the South Indian woman from truly getting her place in society.
I just want you to take away the south part, the Indian women, I will say.
Why? I mean, when I say South India, I'm looking in terms of statistics. You look at Kerala's female literacy figures. Look at the sex ratio across the southern states. Much better than any other part of the country.
I'm saying we are all part of the same country. Maybe we are first rank holders. Other states are in 7th rank or 8th rank. I'm saying, but still we are in the same class. Women are across India going through the same issues. Being a man, I in this place feel like a woman in a bus, city bus. Cornered. I'm just like watching, oh, all women. Same way, every day I see a woman travel. Like my grandfather used to cook at home. My friends, when they come to my house, they'll say, oh, what, your mother is not cooking, your grandfather, it's a shock for them. Across India, if a man cooks or man does household work, it is the same. I'm saying women across India, they face the same problem. Be it a Nayanthara here or Deepika Padukone back in Bollywood, they all get lesser salary than a Salman Khan or a Rajinikanth. So it is not south versus north. I feel the problem with every woman across India is the same, and they face a lot of issues.
I think,
yes.
If I may say so, there's also a very serious language problem. If you look at languages, vernacular languages in India, there is no female version of a guru or a pandit. You can twist the word and say panditai or whatever. It doesn't work. There is no word for, so in our field, for instance, you'd say Ustad somebody, or you'd say Panditji, or you'd say, but for the wonderful, wonderful female teachers that have always, it's come down these traditions from great Devadasis who were wonderful teachers. They were like mothers. There's no name for them. They just, they just have a name. That's it.
So what does that show?
Which is wonderful. I'm so happy there isn't a
No, so what does that show? That you can be a male Ustad?
No, because it's a male-dominated world where the male has had his way, and in some ways you've got to go to the root and change it in the root if you like. But I think we women are very self-confident without having an appendix like that, a title of this or that. We are comfortable. Everybody knows I'm a good teacher. I'm a good teacher. I have the love of my students. I don't care whether you give it a title or not. They don't care either.
I think we've missed out some very important words in our own language. For example, a widow in Tamil is called vidavai. A widower does not have a word at all. And somebody said, what is widower in Tamil? They said, Pudu Maapillai. Groom. He's a would-be groom.
A new groom.
New groom.
A new groom.
A widower in Tamil would be a new groom because he'll be married the next day.
This is the point.
So I think we have to change. Even from the language, things have to change.
No,
The
but
language.
so therefore, as I said, when I look at these statistics, why should these statistics not reflect more in actual society? Maybe it is to some extent in Kerala compared to some of the other states. But I'm just wondering whether the woman's traditional role is still seen as the housewife living at home. Or am I behind the times?
It can be seen as anything, but the women are on the upsurge. They are dominating their families. They are the ones who are leaders. There's no question about it. I'm sorry.
It just takes one person in the family to change the tradition. For example, my grandfather, who was Kamal Hassan's father, who was a leading lawyer, he was a very, very conservative Brahmin. But he told me and my sister, who's sitting there, he wanted us to win beauty pageants and be Miss World. Okay? And she became a doctor and I became a cinematographer. That's a different thing. But it just takes one person to think differently. That's all it takes. I mean, 100 years of tradition is broken by one grandfather. That's all we need.
So you believe the walls are breaking? The walls are breaking across this part of the world, right?
Yes, I definitely would like to say, because my 16-year-old daughter is here, and I don't think I have ever told her that you need to learn how to do the dishes. I don't think her father has ever told her that you need to get 100% center marks. I mean, I am the one who says at least get 60 to 70%, but the father is like, you pass and that's enough. You concentrate on what your mind, your heart wants to do. It's not that you need to give numbers. And she's like any other teenager. She has her school friends. She goes out with them. I don't keep calling up and checking what she is doing, what she is up to, because I have the confidence in her. And I think, the biggest thing what the parents need to nurture, like Kiran Bedi ma'am rightly said, nurturing is the confidence we build in our children. That's the biggest thing. I don't tell her, watch out, where are you going? She goes in auto. She's not a star kid. She takes an auto rickshaw and she goes on her own. So, we have that confidence. She knows how to take care of herself. We need to build the confidence, and we need to say that you are strong enough to take care of of yourself if you call this big bad world. It's bad because we look at it that way, that it's bad. If we feel it's a beautiful world, I think it's a beautiful world. It's just that how we look at it.
Isn't there a rural-urban divide? Isn't there an income divide here, Dhanya, as you travel, let's say, through rural Tamil Nadu on your reporting? You know, one of the big changes, transformations through politics was brought through the cycle scheme. You know, giving girls cycles, education. Tamil Nadu, in particular, has been a step ahead of the rest of the country. Has this empowerment of women, is it now visible across the state or indeed across the south as you travel?
But I have always believed that rural Tamil Nadu, for example, when it comes to women, they empower their women more than perhaps in urban areas. But one quick thing I want to add, you asked about AIDMK, Jaitley being the biggest woman leader. What did she do with her party? There are no women leaders in her party to speak about. So we are all part of the problem. A Parameshwar is part of the problem. Why does he have to say that I have a mother, I have a sister, so I want to protect women? Protect me because I'm a citizen, not because you're bestowing a favor on me. It is my right that I am safe. So I think it is a problem with attitudes. It's not north or south. Everywhere people believe in this crap. And last thing I would like to say, I agree with what Kiran Bedi ma'am said. Is there hope for this generation, which is my age? I'm not sure. We have to speak to our children. I speak to my 5-year-old son, and I think everyone should start there. That's the biggest favor we can do to this country at this point. Talk to our children, tell them to respect people as human beings.
Particularly talk to the men. I mean, to yes. Take what Kiran Bedi's leader, Narendra Modi, said at an Independence Day speech of his. No, I mean...
I thought he's everybody's leader.
Okay, he's everybody's, but you're a BJP... No, but he... Primarily, okay,
I'm sorry,
you got me there.
He's the Prime Minister of India. He's everybody's leader.
Okay.
Please understand that.
Okay, so the Prime Minister of India, in one of his Independence Day rallies...
I just want to continue with a little conclusion.
Yeah, but he did say that, you know, you need to change the attitudes of men. The problem is with men. The problem is with Balaji. The problem is not with others.
Then you mean to say others are not men now?
No, the problem is not with others on the panel, but go ahead.
The class teacher who scolded me was a woman. I'm saying the problem is with both gender. Problem is the people of our age. We actually took all the corrupted thoughts in our mind. As she said, I need to talk to my sons. I have 2 sons. I don't talk to them. I behave in a way that they feel women are no small, transgenders are not abnormal, and men are not so great. I need to make them believe that.
Okay.
So,
yes.
Problem is not with men, problem with all the genders of this age. Probably the next generation we have some hope.
Kiran Bedi?
I think what still happens, just you said South has more women educated, etc. Let me tell you, schooling and graduation masters without an internal courage is not enough. Is not enough. We have more literacy in Kerala. We got 96% literacy in Pondicherry. Does that provide a lot of women leadership? No, it doesn't. Because leadership requires raw courage. And who teaches courage? When you're growing up as girls, the parents actually instilled security in the minds of women. They instilled security in the minds of girls, whereas they teach daring to the boys. Say, go dare, go up front, go challenge. Where for women, withdraw, play safe, right? And they don't play sports. They're not outdoor, they're not mobile. So just because you made them more literate doesn't mean they become progressive. You understand that? So therefore, till courage is taught equally, courage to boys, courage to girls, and with equal opportunities, you will continue to have this gender gap. Girls are not still taught to take on, question the system, innovate, enterprise, and give money. They're not given mobility, they're not given finance, they're not empowered. Women in India are not empowered. Girls are not empowered.
So it's not enough. It's not enough to have these literacy figures, right?
No, literacy is fine. It's important to have literacy. But literacy alone, without courage, without confidence building, without mobility, without finance, is literacy. But it's not empowerment.
Okay, I'm going to, in this concluding, I've just got a few minutes left. I just want to raise something very different, maybe on a lighter note. Since Jairam Ramesh yesterday at the Conclave provoked me again with this whole notion of South Indian societies not being as cosmopolitan he believed as North. In fact, he went to the extent of saying he'd rather live in a Bihar or a Jharkhand than he would live in South India. I don't know whether he's watching this program, I want you all today to respond to him and the likes of him perhaps, who have these various stereotypes about South India even today.
I'll probably
For all
find a
these-
house for him in Bihar.
What is the best thing? What is the best thing, and I'm going to ask all of you this, what is the best thing about living down south? What is it about South India that should make more and more Indians believe this is where the future lies? You start, RJ Balaji, and we'll go right round.
To
Quick,
be, one
30
word
seconds.
is South India is our home. I don't have a better word to say, like, why your house is the best thing for you. Like, because it's your house. It's my house, my house. So I belong here. So it is India. Complete. You have whatever you tell about India, one word, it is part of South India. Like, you can say the same thing about Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So I don't know, like, I feel emotional now. And if Jairam Ramesh has said that, actually we don't want him here. Let him live in Bihar. So I can't go live in Bihar because this is my house. Let him feel home at Bihar. And one, cosmopolitan, he said cosmopolitan. You mentioned 3-4 times. What is cosmopolitan? Drinking every day, night in a pub. If that is cosmopolitan, I am sure there are not enough pubs like Bombay. But still we feel cosmopolitan. You watch a cricket match every time that happens in Chennai. They say in ESPN Star Sports, sorry to mention other channel name here, but still they say, oh, Chennai crowd is a knowledgeable crowd. Chennai crowd is a knowledgeable. Harsha Bogle, 173 times he told the same thing. Knowledgeable, what is knowledge? Knowledgeable is cosmopolitan. We have the most number of IT companies here. We have the call centers here. We can speak American accent. Hello, I'm Derek Isaac, working on behalf of US Director, Internet Yellow Pages. I worked in a call center. I can speak American accent.
Okay,
So,
because
we are
I think
cosmopolitan.
the stereotype he was hinting at is that there are issues of language and culture which make the outsider feel a bit uncomfortable, is what he seemed to suggest. But you seem to suggest that that is not true.
Cosmopolitan is not knowing Hindi. So we don't know Hindi. Maximum Hindi we know is Pani Puri Chahiye Bhai Sahab. That is good enough for us to live in Chennai and Tamil Nadu. So if we are not knowing Hindi and we feel left out, yes, we are good about it.
Okay, good. Dhanya Rajendra, quickly, and I'm going to ask 30 seconds from each of you. What is the best thing about living in the South?
I think we are cosmopolitan, but to a certain extent. I love that actually. What is being cosmopolitan? You're a shared community with a shared morality. You're a same community with a shared morality. But here we also accept everyone else. I'm a Keralite. I lived in Tamil Nadu. I celebrate Pongal because the Tamilians made me celebrate Pongal. They made me a part of their culture. So I think they retain a bit of tradition, but also cosmopolitan. And that's why the cities and the towns here are very different.
It's a good way to put it. And Pongal comes in a few days' time. Leela Sampson, what is the best thing about living down south?
Well, as you know, I'm not. I've spent a lot of my life here, but I don't come from here. So I have an unbiased opinion. I think there's a liberation of the mind here. A person might be conservative, and I'm hitting upon a very delicate balance. You may find the person conservative in some ways, but there's a liberated mind there. And that to me is very enhancing. And in the arts in which I'm involved, there's a scholarship, there's an understanding of one's true culture in a way that the rest of India perhaps doesn't understand.
I think that's very well put. The liberated minds exist south of the Vindhyas. And social empowerment came here long before it came to most other parts of the country. Suhasini Maniratnam.
There's so much to learn from our neighboring states, from Kerala. You can learn all about literature, politics, and poetry, and how to lean to the left or right and swing back to the right. And from Andhra, you can absolutely learn how to be a good host. Hospitality is the best in Andhra Pradesh. And Karnataka people are modern. They kind of go along with the society. They are willing to learn everything from everywhere, and very simple people. Of course, about Chennai, we are very simple people. We don't have a facade. We don't even have any makeup on our faces, if you can see, because we don't waste time on things like that. What you see is what you get. We don't wear our wealth in our sleeves, and we don't wear our intellect in our hats. We don't. We are simple. We are simply the best.
Simple living, high thinking, as they call it. Simple living, high thinking is the way to describe life in Chennai. Go ahead, Kushbu Sundar. What's the best thing about living down south?
I think I have been born and bred in Mumbai. Living here and calling myself a true-blooded Chennai shows that I belong to Chennai, and this is indeed the best part in the entire world to live in. I think I belong to the same party, but I would really request Jairam Rameshji to come down to Chennai. I will host him. Please come, be my guest, stay with me, and I'll tell you what cosmopolitan and what liberal and what modern society Chennai or Tamil Nadu or South India is about. Thank you.
Okay, Kiran Bedi, you're the North Indian who's been adopted by the South, except for your Chief Minister, who still seems to have a problem with you. But what is the best thing about living in Puducherry compared? Surely the air, for one, in Puducherry must be much better than what you get in
Can I
Delhi.
just correct you? It is Puducherry.
Puducherry. Sorry, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, the differences I see, if I were in Delhi and what would have happened here, remarkable world of a difference. It's a world of a difference. They're two different worlds, friends. First of all, they are comparatively respectful to authority. They just have to trust you. If they trust you, they're with you. If they don't trust you, then it's a different story. But if you are trustworthy, then I find the South Indians respect you more and listen to you. They go by your instructions. Secondly, they're comparatively much more law-abiding. Third, they're much more at peace with themselves. I've noticed that. They're much simpler. I agree with you, they're much simpler. Fifth, they're not extravagant spenders. If they save much more. They save more than they show more. And of course, they love jewelry. Women love a lot of jewelry. They have a lot of color. There's a lot of color. There's a lot of art and culture. There's a lot of literacy and academics. There's a lot of entertainment of a quality kind. Not of a noisy kind, but I find it of class. I think they're much more classy.
Well, I think you've given, all of you have given a strong response to what Jairam Ramesh appeared to suggest. I think it's clear the best place to live is down south, which is why I hope that this will be the first of many India Today conclaves that will come down south, because the warmth that we've had here, the kind of audiences that we've had here clearly show that there is life beyond the Vindhyas. Thank you all very much for joining us. Please give them a very big hand, ladies and gentlemen. It's been wonderful to have you here. Thank you very much.
I'll just request our guests to please stay on the stage. Indeed, this has been an extremely enlightening and inspiring session. So many liberated minds and thoughts, most importantly. May I call on stage Dr. Maria Zina Johnson, Managing Director of the Satyabama University, to kindly come on stage and give a small token of thanks and appreciation to our guests. Please come.
Please give them one more big hand.
One huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we end Day 2 of the India Today Conclave South on such a high note.